In this video, I am going to share with you 4 steps that you must follow, particularly if you are investing for the first time in commercial property. If you have already invested into commercial property, then also you must follow these for your next purchase. So let's follow this. What are all these 4 steps? The first step that I always talk about in commercial property is that have a financial goal. Unlike residential property where you think about how many properties that you are going to buy, you buy one property, then go to the next one, then third one, fourth one. You don't talk about that financial goal in residential property to begin with. Why? Because financial goal in residential property doesn't make much sense because it's not a positive cash flow property. In residential property, if you buy, let's say, $20, $50, something like that per week, you can save up, you can make a $20 per week cash flow, but that is not going to give you financial independence. That is not going to give your financial goal, which is why most people, they do not achieve or they do not even set a financial goal in residential properties. Commercial property is completely different. Your financial goal, you need to set it up. It's something like numbers, right? You will be set it up, let's say 100,000 passive cash flow, or 200,000 passive cash flow, or even $400,000 annual passive cash flow, which means that $400,000 annually you will keep the money after paying all the expenses. And this sounds like a lot initially, but it is not. If you set this goal, and then we will talk about all the strategies what you can use it. So setting the financial goal is the important first step in your commercial property journey. That initial step, it could be like, you can go with, let's say 100,000 to begin with. Let's say 100,000 passive cash flow. Now to get $100,000 passive cash flow, it means that you need, my way of doing this is that you need double of that rent. So if you want 100,000 passive cash flow, that means you need to collect 200,000 net rent. Now 200,000 net rent, how many properties do you need? It depends on what kinds of deal that you will be buying. If you already have some sort of an equity from a different real estate investment, other residential investment, or some sort of money, then you can buy just only one property and that can give you a 200,000 net rent. That one property could be worth, let's say, around $2.5 million. With 8% net rent, a $2.5 million deal can bring you 200,000 net rent. So having a financial goal initially will dictate what kind of properties you will buy, what kind of strategies that you can use, and that is possible once you set the financial goal. In commercial property, you just don't think like, okay, I'm going to buy this property and let's see what happens. No, your goal, you put this financial goal first. Once you set this financial goal, and then we look for the different strategies, different properties. So we go to the destination first and then we come up with the path. Whereas in residential property, we just don't go like that. We go like, okay, let me just buy one property and then let's go to the second one. And then if you talk among your friends and colleagues or everybody will say, oh, I want 2 properties, I want 3 properties. And you suddenly judging them like, oh, wow, that's a great thing. But you don't know how much money they are losing, because most of these residential properties are negative cash flow because they did not set this goal. They did not set the financial goal beforehand. And this is how something you will be doing. You will be setting the financial goal, and from there you will go down and you will go to this strategy that we will talk. Okay, so now once you have set this financial goal, the next step is get educated. And if you don't know anything about commercial property, make sure you learn things. What is triple net lease, what is cap rate, what kind of properties that is in the market, what kind of return that you can get. Talk to people who actually knows these things, who are doing these things, and watch my YouTube videos where I regularly create these kind of contents. What kind of deal that can be bought, what are the things that is coming on the market. All these informations you need upfront so that you can benchmark, what is happening. If you are coming from this residential market, and if you are somebody who is like always invested in residential, there is a fair bit of education that you need before you get into commercial. So understanding the commercial property nitty-gritty is the important part, and that's how you need to get educated. That's the next step. That's the second step, because if you are not educating yourself, how you're going to go like, okay, what kind of deal you're going to buy. So first step is your financial goal, and that goal could be whatever between 100,000 passive cash flow to 400,000, 500. In fact, you could set a goal for about $1 million passive cash flow. That is possible. Of course, it is not going to be easy. Based on your circumstances, you can achieve that as well. So set that financial goal and then get educated. Okay, so once you done this education, you learn a bit and now you are ready. Parallelly, the third step is what you can do is talk to a commercial finance broker. What do you mean by commercial finance broker? Commercial broker are those who are specialized in the commercial properties, not the residential, because they are actually, because in lending industry, one thing that you need to understand is commercial properties and the residential property, the two division is like a two separate bank. So whenever your residential mortgage broker, they are talking to a residential property in the bank, are completely different than somebody who is talking to that commercial property, because their lease terms are different, their lending criteria are different, the way they assess that property are completely different, and so many things different, which is why you need to talk to a commercial property broker. And then you provide all your information, you just basically get an idea of how much you can borrow. Because once you get an idea of how much you can borrow based on your circumstances, how much deposit you have, if you have any residential property, you can tap into that equity and eventually try to find out how much you can borrow. Because once your commercial property broker would be able to tell like roughly you can borrow about that, then using that you can go to the next step. Because if you don't know how much you can borrow, because there is no point of looking for like let's say $3 million property where you can't even borrow $3 million property. So having how much you can borrow, how much do you have, so assessing that whole thing with the property broker or finance broker is an important part of your commercial property journey. Most people don't do that. It sounds so simple, yet if you talk to people, say how many times did you go to your commercial property finance broker, and most of the time you'll answer that, oh, I don't even know anybody. If you don't anyone, shop around, find out. There are people who are specialized into commercial property and they will actually guide you and tell you that yes, you would be able to borrow more than you even thought. Yes, that's right. Even you think like you are stuck in residential property and you are not, it is possible that you can borrow money in commercial property because the lending criteria are different. So make sure that you assess your circumstances with a finance broker in the commercial space. Okay, so now once you know how much, the next part is the finding the deal, finding the property. And this is how you must talk to a good commercial property buyer agent. And I'm telling you why you need to do this, because if you are buying for the first time, you need to know quite a few things, but there are some things that could go wrong as well. And if it goes wrong, then it could be a costly mistake. So what you need to do is that, think about that. You will be buying probably 2, 3, 4 commercial properties in your lifetime. Why would you take risk of doing everything on your own, where you can employ somebody who would find the deal based on your need, based on your goal, and kind of match that and will make you financially independent, make you achieve that goal. And yes, they are going to take money for that. Of course, you need to pay for their service, but isn't it better to take that service while you are busy doing what you are doing? Because if you're doing something and if you're really good at, you should be doing that. And rather than fiddling with that property and then not able to get that actual outcome that you achieve. Remember, you would be talking like you're like a project manager and you are dealing with multiple projects. So one is your finance, which you deal with the broker. One is your property that you will be dealing with your property buyer agent, and then the finance, that part you need to, like, your overarching goal, you can employ someone else as well, or you can get idea from the buyer agents, you can get idea from other people's. But most importantly, that you need to employ these people so that you can get the best outcome, because they are the industry expert. They have all these knowledges. They have been looking for deals continuously and they're getting those deals. So the chances of getting a better deal and doing the proper due diligence is better in commercial property with the property buyer agent rather than everything you're trying to do it by yourself. So yes, these are the 4 steps if you follow. The first one is that set your goal, set your financial goal, and once you set your financial goal, make sure you stick with that. Second one, get educated, make sure you understand all the basic nitty-gritty about commercial property and go to a different seminar, different webinar, anything, anywhere you find about commercial property, go for this. Watch my YouTube video, there are a lot of contents that I create. Third one is, of course, talk to a commercial property broker, finance broker, and make sure that your finance sorted, you know how much you'll be able to borrow. And then last but not the least, talk to a property buyer agent, commercial property buyer agent, because talking to a commercial property buyer agent, you will find out that there are deals which is coming which you thought that you won't be able to find out, but they have the access because they have some off market deals, they have some deals which is probably you didn't even hear of, so it's something that you need to take consideration. So these are the 4 steps that you must follow, and if you do, then I'm sure that you will be successful in commercial property journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.